Just exactly like how drunk I was at that night, I just don't really recall.
And I remember it being $100 each.
Then I realized like I need to be where like this stuff comes off the truck.
I think 9 months worth of time that I saw Richard.
He doesn't just care about himself or his company.
That would be a great person to spend time with.
I first met John when we were living at the Southgate Apartments in Eugene. I was, I think, 20 years old. He was probably a few years older, 23 or so. And I was sitting outside on my porch, and here comes John walking down with the big headphones on and a little beanie on his face, and just having a huge grin, listening to his music. And as he walked by, I just had this instant spark connection, like I need to get to know him.
You can like notice a significant other. Like I knew who she was. I knew like the girls that lived across the hall. Like I didn't know them personally, but I recognized all of them. And obviously I was, you know, a male in my 20s. So I knew that there was girls over there that were cute, but like I didn't notice her until later. So there's a difference between like noticing someone and then like seeing them for the first time, like really seeing them. And yeah, she came over. This is gonna sound terrible, like some kind of adult movie.
I used the I need to borrow a cup of sugar to go over to his house. And from there we started dating.
Yeah, she came over to borrow sugar, and I don't know what it was, but all of a sudden, like I really saw her and was just like, wow. You know, you feel dumb in that moment when you're like, dude, like, are you blind? Like, what's up? And so yeah, from that moment I was like, yeah, smitten. And that's how that went.
I remember when Mary Jo first started her first day at Toys R Us. And I remember her being trained at the service counter. And I remember being in electronics and looking over and saying, wow, she's cute. I really appreciate her personality. She's this little spark plug. She always had an opinion on something. And it was great to see her work with customers and just be a nice person. And I was thinking, you know, that would be a great person to spend time with.
When I first met Richard, my first impression was that he was a really hard worker. We always got these like sorts of competitions for sales members to get upgrades and warranties and sell batteries and things like that. So he was always doing an amazing job with both customer service and the amount of work that he put out. And that really impressed me, as non-romantic as that sounds. It was definitely a very important quality for me. So I really appreciated his hard work, and he was always really cheerful and upbeat, and that just made working with him really easy.
I would steal her pen sometimes. And when I stole it, I really didn't know my intentions, but I figured, hey, you know, if she's gonna ask for a pen over the walkie-talkie and I have a pen for her, that's gonna help. That's a conversation I can have with her.
And that was the third grade level flirtation that went on for a long time. I did get legitimately angry with him several times, but apparently that was the thing that worked, I guess, is I never had a pen on me because he was always stealing them.
Stealing her pen definitely made her upset. And so after I realized how upset it was making her, I did stop.
At that point, we were both single and started dating. And then a few months later, we got engaged, and a year after that, we were married, and then I had to quit Toys R Us because he was technically my supervisor, and I couldn't work there while I was married to him. So
sometimes it's hard to know if you meet the right person to have them be your life partner. And with MJ, it was pretty quick, I knew. After the first few months of dating, it was so easy. Like, it was so easy to have conversations with her. It was so easy to spend time together and have fun and talk about serious issues and talk about the rest of our lives together. When we started the business, it seemed kind of fun to like be working a lot and having fun at the bowling alley working and then come here in the mornings, but it quickly grew very challenging, especially for our relationships. And so Mary Jo had to endure me being gone a lot. Sometimes I'd see her when I came home at midnight for a couple hours.
Well, those were some of the hardest times in our marriage. That was just really difficult to try to kind of maintain a relationship of any kind. Whenever I saw, it was at least, I think, 9 months worth of time that I saw Richard about less than a day a week. So for that whole period of time.
Sometimes I wouldn't see her for days on end because she's asleep, and then I get up before she woke up, or she'd get up before I woke up, and she'd go to work. And so it was really challenging.
John definitely spends a lot of time devoted to his business. Him only having 1 day off a week was really basically our hangout time. So that would be like basically our date day. And then it's hard too because you want to make time for friends and family as well. So you have to share that day off with other people.
Like, it's difficult to be with someone who is super committed and driven to something that's not yours, you know? So when you're telling your significant other, like, I need you to like ride or die for me, but I'm never there. Like, I can't go to your barbecue. I can't go to your sister's party. I'm not going to this. I'm not going to that. Like, my schedule was crazy in terms of working one job during the day, a whole job, and a whole job at night. And that's 6 days a week. And then on the 7th day, you got to work one of those jobs. It doesn't leave a lot of time for like a blossoming relationship. The burden is being carried by the other person who is alone on a Friday night. So yeah, it's rough, super rough.
When we got married, we were both very young. We had a lot of troubles communicating. I had a lot to learn. She had a lot to learn about me. And so kind of building that relationship was very challenging, especially when I was gone, 6, 7 days a week. And we may have had an evening together, a 7-day stretch.
I was not a cook, and I had to learn to cook real quick so I could keep us alive. And had to take care of our 2 cats and clean the house, of course, everything, normal house stuff, as well as, again, my job and school. And by that point, he was out of school, thank goodness, but still working, of course, a lot. And so that kind of dedication and time that's put in is just something that it's hard to connect with other people about sometimes. We really want to hang out with our friends. We really love our families. We want to try and spend time with people. And it just has always been a really strategic effort to try and just have relationships with everybody. And we had to start with ourselves. So we had to learn to have a relationship with each other without basically seeing each other. And we had been long distance in our beginning of our relationship. So we kind of picked that back up, but it's different when you're long distance but in the same house. It's not the same thing.
So, a lot of people, when they say, oh, I'm gonna start a business and it's gonna be easy, it's not easy, especially on the people that support you and are with you. When I have family members talk to me and say, oh, you're so successful and it was so easy for you, and I just, as much as I want to pat myself on the back, it's crazy how hard it was. And it's crazy how hard it was on our significant others,
We dealt with it by like good communication and trying to keep one thing like sacred, like that one day off is like our day, and that's the day that we spend together and do things together, and try not to just fill it with like chores, you know, to like make it quality time.
We've made it work, and it's been a lot of communication, I think, is basically, and that John is determined for anything he sets his mind to. So if there's something that I need from him, he will work on changing it or making time. And now I think he does way more than I do. I would say he puts in just as much time in our relationship as he does in his business. And same with his friends and his family and his community. And I think that's what makes it work, is he doesn't just care about himself or his company. He really cares about everybody.
As an owner, it's really hard to take your foot off the gas pedal, even though you know it's going to improve your quality of life and you know, your partner's quality of life. And so there's always this game of cat and mouse, like how much can I get away with working and trying to build this company versus not. You know, sometimes my wife needs that weekend away, and so I have to take the time off and spend time with her. And sometimes it surprises me. I need her help as much as she needs my help.
To answer your question, yeah, things are way better. I mean, we don't live in a tiny, like we used to live in a really small place. The rent was cheap, so that is what it is, and it was small. We're just on top of each other, you know, all the time. And my work schedule was crazy, but now things are better. We have more space, live in a house, and I only work one job, not two. I still work 6 days a week, but I mean, that is what it is. So yeah, things are definitely better. Things are better, harder in some aspects. So yeah. We're like, oh my God, dude, more articulation.
You know, toys have been a big part of my life since I was a little kid.
And people were always a little surprised when they got that in the mail, and they were like, I thought it would be bigger.